back to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. It's Power Talk Friday. And if you are listening to this in real time, it is Friday, December 29th, 2023, which means this is the last episode of the year. I hope this year has treated you well. I know that for me, it brought a lot of new adventures, and one of them was LuAnn Live 2023, where I got the chance to see many of you, and together we worked on making our businesses better, and we got the chance to visit and reconnect. I love all of those things so much. Other things that happened this year were that we launched the 4-part Docuseries, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, back in March 2023. This Docuseries is all about us, you and me, our journey together, building this community that surrounds our 2 podcasts, A Well-Designed Business and Window Treatments for Profit. It was filmed and produced by the incredibly talented Mr. Jude Charles. We aired it and we watched it live with over 500 of you in attendance that night. It was such a happy, beautiful, wonderful experience to share that night and the watching of that movie with you. If you missed it, you can see it on YouTube and you can see the chat that's still there from that night. It is actually pretty awesome. We will link it in the show notes. Then later in the year, if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that I made a decision to actively take back taking care of myself. This was in June 25th to be exact. I decided to go back to LuAnn BP. LuAnn Before Podcast. That is the LuAnn who honored her commitments to herself, not just to her business. I talked about this idea at LuAnn Live as well. I asked the room of more than 200 designers, window treatment professionals, and industry partners. I said, how many of you have ever missed a client meeting just because you were working at your desk and you couldn't go, you didn't go, you just didn't make it? No hands went up, right? I mean, really, think about it. You're working at your desk, you're getting work done, you have an appointment with a contractor, with a client, a customer, whatever, and you just go, I'm not going to do it, right? We don't do that, right? Then I asked, how many of you have missed a yoga class, a family dinner, your kids or your grandkids' t-ball game, because you were sitting at your desk and you decided to work through it? Yeah. Hello. A lot of hands went up. I think the whole room raised their hand, right? You know this, right? How about you? Do you put these activities in your calendar and then end up working through them, doing proposals, paying bills, telling yourself, this is more important. I can't get up and go now. This has to be done. Well, I challenge the attendees at LuAnn Live, and I challenge you today. What if in 2024 you were to consider yourself your number 1 client? What would you do differently? Because just like the oxygen mask in an airplane, how can you be the best for your client when you are not your best self? It's impossible. Tired, exhausted, resentful, overworked does not translate to a seamless, exceptional client experience. It just doesn't. So for me, in June, decided to be my number 1. I decided to make this change with one tiny, simple, not grandiose adjustment. I promised myself I would not open my computer each morning until I had moved my body. Some days that's an hour walk on the beach. Some days it's 7 minutes of calisthenics on my bedroom floor. Whatever it is, It is no longer, it doesn't matter. LuAnn doesn't matter. And I have to say, it's been life-changing. I encourage you to take a page from Amber de la Garza's Handbook of Business and Life and take a hard look at what you need to change this year, stop this year, or do this year. And I encourage you to look at it from the perspective of yourself as a human first. Okay? Then, also, in 2023, the podcast reached over 900 episodes and exceeded 8 million downloads. This is a direct result of the many outstanding guests that we have had on the show, the time they have spent with us, the information they so willingly shared, and the vulnerability they come to with each interview, right? So to acknowledge this, we decided to do a recap of the 10 most listened to episodes of 2023. Here we go. The number one most listened to episode of the year was with Jean Stouffer. It's no surprise. Jean is the real deal, a businesswoman who has a handle on what is important to her both professionally and personally. In this episode, Jean gave us a glimpse into her journey, showing us the joys of intertwining work and family, the benefits of an unhurried attitude, and the blessings each season of life has to offer throughout our business career. It was pretty great. I love my conversation with Jean. You must check it out. Now, number two, most listened to episode of the year was with #SmartGuy Joshua Smith, who talked to us about the importance of being connected to your passion. He talked about his work philosophy. He talked about the growing topic of sustainability in design. He also shared with us his 3 5s method. Okay, he calls it his 3 5s method. This is his daily routine to up-level his entire life. It's a spiritual fitness routine that opens up a sacred experience with his higher self every morning before taking on the crazy and unpredictable times of his day. The best part is it takes only 15 minutes a day. So in addition to linking in the episode show notes, all of these episodes I'm talking about, I'm going to also link a blog post by Josh that explains how to execute his morning routine in case you want to up-level your life. All right, number 3 was actually a flashback Friday of the episode with Julia Markham of Chris Loves Julia. This is a great episode to listen to if you're having a rough time with social media. Julia talked about why it is important to know who your audience is that follows you and what you want to be known for. In Julia's case, she shares daily organic content, not only about the renovations that they do, but she also shares a little of their personalities and lets their followers get to know them on a deeper level. And of course, she shared some of her hot tips to up-level your social media game. Great conversation. Okay, 4th on the spot, we have John McClain. I have enjoyed getting to know John so much better this past year. I read his book, The Designer Within, A Professional Guide to a Well-Styled Home. We hung out at Las Vegas Market last summer. Then we were on a panel together in High Point organized by IDS that also included my friend Rick Campos and was moderated by the fabulous Jessica Bantam. And finally, John was our special VIP guest at LuAnn Live. If you've had a chance to speak with him, either at LuAnn Live or at any of these other events, then you know what a kind person he is. In this episode, John told us how he not only learned from his mistakes, but how his most difficult business mistake, the hardest one, became the catalyst to organizing his business for the better. Since then, he has not only restructured his entire business and the way he does his projects with his clients, he has also started his own podcast and is now mentoring and coaching designers like you to be successful and profitable. Love, love, love it. Okay. Now, before we get to the other half of the top 10 list, I have to mention the other 2 podcasts that live under the LuAnn Nigara umbrella, Window Treatments for Profit and The Inner Edit. Over on those podcasts, we also have amazing content, and you don't want to miss them. I really hope you cross over and start to listen to these other podcasts. On Window Treatments for Profit, we had outstanding experts join us, such as LuAnn Nigara, talking about the power of the sales process, of the 7-step sales process, okay, that you can take at LuAnn University. We've also had Nicole Heimer of Glory and Brand talking about our points of differentiation. Deb Barrett talking about understanding fabric and how you have to be the expert for your clients. We had Jill Ballou, Richard Benath, Lori Ann Jones, Julie Wood, and so many others talking about how they personally have grown their business, okay? And of course, we also have my dear friends, Vita Vykovska and Madeline McCrae, who keep helping us up-level our business with their tips and insights each week, okay? And last but not least, we have had a gabillion What Would Lou Do episodes over on that podcast that you might want to check out. Then on the Inner Edit, she's also had some fantastic guests interviewed over there. This is my daughter Christy's podcast. You may know this podcast as Sass Says, but thanks to Christy's vision and the execution by Nicole Heimer of Glory and Brand, it underwent a complete rebrand this year in 2023 and is now called the Inner Edit. Shout out to Diana, our marketing coordinator, for the fabulous new name. And I have to say, this rebrand has been excellent. Christy joined us at LuAnn Live, and I am just so happy and proud at how many of you responded to meeting her, to understanding her mission and vision for her podcast and what she wants to do in this world, okay? About her sharing her point of view on self-care and showing up for yourself in your business the way we do for our clients, okay? And on her podcast, many of our favorites from this podcast have joined her. Nancy Ganskaufer, Sandra Funk, Katie McDonald, Jude Charles, Rachel Bozick-Johansson, Amber De La Garza, Claire Jefford, Eileen Hahn, and others. These interviews over there on the Inner Edit are a completely different take from what you hear from these people on this podcast. Each of these people shared a personal side of themselves that I'm betting you will want to hear and that you will enjoy. We will link those episodes in the show notes for you. All right, back to our top 10. Number 5 on this list is my good friend and colleague, Nancy Ganskaufer. You know I always love having Nancy on the show, and this episode she shared how her health scares, the stresses in her life, and other unexpected experiences forced her to slow down, to balance work and life. Okay. And it wasn't easy for her, but it was something that was a non-negotiable at that point. And the thing is, she figured it out because she's Nancy, you know, and the thing is, was one of the reasons why I think she was called to be a keynote sponsor at LuAnn Live this year. I mean, personally, she chose to do it is because this concept of health and wealth, you know, she understands firsthand how critical it is that you have to first be well in order to do well. And in her program, the Profit Insiders Academy, that she and Leslie Myrick handle and teach, they teach you how to be profitable, how to do it within the boundaries that support yourself both professionally and personally. The before and after stories that she shared at LuAnn Live were remarkable, and I highly encourage you to check out the Profit Insiders Academy. All right, now number 6 was Carla Titus. Carla is a finance expert with over 15 years of combined corporate financial planning, analysis, strategy, and Carla now runs a fractional CFO consulting business for creatives like us. Carla shared with us her thoughts on outsourcing business finances, as well as her expertise in gaining control of your numbers by utilizing her 5-step framework that she calls 2C3P. Reminds me of Star Wars. C-3PO, right? But as she calls it, 2C3P. This is how you tackle your financial health from all the sides. It's a fantastic episode to check out if you've got to wrap your brain around your numbers once and for all. All right? Number 7, Amy Youngblood. Amy created an intake process that eliminates the possibility of saying yes to the wrong projects and makes way for your ideal clients. Okay. On this podcast episode, she walked us through her process and how she uses the intake form in her business. I loved having Amy as a guest on the show because I review every intake form every day as part of this podcast production process. And I always love a new take on how somebody does it well. Yay. Okay. Now, almost at the end of the list, number 8 is Stacy Davidson. Stacy is a good friend of our good friend, Peter Lang. And like Peter, she is one of those unique individuals who is totally left brain, but she gets us creative right brain people. We love those people, right? In this episode, she talks about her experience and the value that outsourcing your back end operations can bring to your business and how it can boost not only your confidence, but your profits as well. Terrific episode. Number 9, we have Kelly Burke, owner of Kelly Burke Interiors. She talked about her journey, the importance of failure, and the ups and downs of having a business. Now, we all know by now that things don't happen overnight. You need to have determination, you need to have guts. And like Kelly said, to achieve your goals, you've got to be focused on these things, okay? So it's a great episode to listen to if you need some inspiration in going after those goals in 2024, all right? Now, last but certainly in no way, no how, least, number 10 is with my dear friend, Sandra Funk. Sandra is the CEO of House of Funk and the founder of the Interior Design Standard. Sandra shared with us her insights on why you need to stop apologizing to your clients for back orders, for delays, and for the things that you cannot control. And as importantly, she explained what to do instead. Okay, that's the key, right? You just can't say, never mind, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm not going to talk to you, right? Now, if you are a regular listener, then you know that I always have an insightful conversation with Sandra every time she's on the show, and this particular episode is no exception. Be sure to follow Sandra on Instagram for her show Design Sips, and do yourself a favor and check out the link in the show notes for the Interior Design Standard. This is one of the most actionable things you can do to immediately up-level your interior design business. All right? Now, as we wrap up this episode, I want to express my sincere gratitude to each of you for being a part of this incredible journey that was 2023. Your presence, your love, your support have made this a remarkable year, and I am deeply thankful for your ongoing support. So let's carry forward the lessons learned, the growth achieved, and the cherished memories that we created in 2023 right into 2024. How about that? Thank you, as always, for being a part of this with me. Your presence makes a significant impact on me as well as on each other. Okay? I'm truly honored to have you by my side. Here is to a new year filled with endless possibilities, boundless joy, and the realization of your deepest aspirations. Wishing you a happy new year filled with love, laughter, and all the success that you have ever imagined for yourself. Decide to be excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of LuAnn Nigara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or LuAnn University, go to LuAnnNigara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to WindowWorksNJ.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.